So bad. We are live.
We're live?
I think I nailed that frame there.
All right, cool.
Sit down. Let me find out if the frame is okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 29 of the Arty Time podcast.
Episode number 29.
I hope so.
That's a pretty big number of, as far as the amount of podcasts we've done. Like, I'm actually kind of impressed that we did this many podcasts.
It's more than a day's worth.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely more than a full day. You can watch Arty Time for a full day, non-stop, no commercial breaks, unless you're watching it on YouTube without an ad blocker.
I'm going to try and get that glare gone. What do you want to talk about today on episode 29?
Art.
Yes, of course.
That's a dumb question.
I made Okay, I guess I'm just like...
You're going to wing it?
Well, I'm being cut by this light here. I guess it's right on my face.
Oh, I might have moved the lights in between the last episode to get a picture or something.
It's like too much.
Well, now it's me that's too much.
Okay, maybe that works. There's like a glare, you see it?
Yeah.
That's running through the frame right here. See, this is something that you have to deal with when you film. You gotta deal with...
Is it that, or is it the lights on this side that you're causing the glare?
I don't know.
Ooh, I think it is.
See, when you film, you gotta worry about glares, yo.
I think it's that light that's causing the glare. There we go.
Okay.
We are now glare-free.
Except I'm blinded because I was looking into lights.
Arty Time, episode 29. New and improved, now glare-free. For you guys out there. And,
Is that a glare?
well, actually, now it seems like it's getting lighter and darker when you move around. Like, I don't know.
Okay, well, look, we're gonna have to deal with it because we gotta jump into episode 29. 29 has already started and we don't even know what we're talking about.
Well, I don't know. Well, yeah, all right. Well, that's pretty much how an artist's life is. You don't know what you're talking about. You make stuff happen, and then at the end of the day, people are either into it or they're not.
Yeah. Okay, so this week I decided for the longest time I wanted to make my own comic book character.
Okay.
Okay, I had done Blue Jay, which was a mix of Sonic and Woody Woodpecker, and I put him in 3-panel stories. There's only one issue. I don't really like 3 panels. I never really did. I like the aesthetic of it, but I don't like telling a joke in 3 panels. I like telling a joke all at once in one image.
Like Far Side.
Far Side is my favorite comic of all time.
Yes.
So
awesome. Mine too, probably. Calvin and Hobbes close second.
So what I endeavored to do was make a character, start doing these 1-panel jokes, but here's the twist. Because of the internet, I can make it interactive and ask people to fill in the blank. So make a panel and then ask them what the panel should say above. You know, how Far Side, it's not inside the bubble, it's underneath.
Underneath the bubble most of the time. Yeah, sometimes there's words in the bubbles.
Yeah, sometimes he gives further context. But it usually is the punchlines at the bottom.
Yeah.
And with meme culture, most of the time the punchline's at the top. My reaction when, and then you get the image. And it can be reworked and changed. Now you can do it about it. You can go about it 2 ways. You can make an image and hope that the internet takes that image and does that process for you, or you could force it. And that's what I've decided to do: is make the image, ask people, "Hey, give me the words for it," and then in the end, I have the comic with over 30 writings to it.
It's funny you mentioned this because it segues good into this. I just finished a new painting. Yeah. Here it is.
Oh, you don't have a word?
It's called Backwards. And that's the whole thing. It's a new style of art. I make paintings and then I hang them on the wall with the painting towards the wall. And people go, why the fuck would you do that? And I say, because it's backwards. No, that's not the truth at all. Here's the painting.
Good, because I was hating that idea.
Good. It's a terrible idea.
Oh, but I love this idea.
So this is the painting. And talking about asking the audience, right? Like,
oh shit,
this doesn't have a title yet. And sometimes thinking of a title for a painting is not always easy. I've made hundreds of paintings. So coming up with a title for each one isn't always easy, but I think if you're selling art over a long period of time, it's important to give them titles because we've spoken about this in earlier episodes. It gives another layer to the piece of art. People aren't necessarily always visual like artists are. So giving a name to it can help that person connect with it on a different level. It can also help you keep your inventory. Say somebody wants this painting and you have many paintings available. Somebody can say, I want whatever its title ends up being. I want ABC.
Yeah.
And then you know what he's talking about instead of, oh, you know that one with like the kind of blue in the upper corner and it's like sort of pinky orange on the bottom and like that yellow line thing. Like, I don't know.
The one that's 24 by 12.
It has a squiggle in it. But like, yeah. So it makes it easier for people to know what they have, and down the line, it's also when reselling art, it's easier to resell a painting with a title. It just is, like a title, a name, and a date. Think of it, if I tell you there's a painting called Night Garden, 1962 by Jean-Michel Philippe Comtois, and yeah, you know, it has a title, a name, and a date, versus the exact same painting with no information sitting on the ground at a garage sale. What one are you going to be more interested in? You're going to be able to go Google the guy's name and see if he's a famous artist. It'll explain a little bit about what you're looking at and what was in the artist's mind when he was creating it, maybe, or what he was looking at when he was creating it, if the landscape or something like that. And a date helps date it, so like when you're looking for all this stuff, if there's two artists with the same name or whatever, it gives context to when they made it in their career. So some gallery owners, I've heard them advise artists not to date their art. If you're purely just trying to sell it, in some ways I can see their mentality behind that, because say something was painted 7 years ago, and why hasn't it sold already? Some people might not be into that. Me, I'm an art collector, so I'm not really like that. When I buy art, like, I almost want to have one from every year of the artist's or every period of the artist's career, because it shows like the arc of their career kind of thing. So art collectors don't always think the way that I've heard some gallery owners express it. I guess it's a double-edged sword, but I personally think that your art should be dated, signed, and titled somewhere on it. I don't sign any of my art on the front. All my art is signed on the sides and the back. I do put my logo, as you can see there, and my website on the side of every piece I do, and then my name and stuff will go on the back. Once I decide the title of it, I put my title.
And if you listen to Arty Time, in the past, you know about the art bank. And look, some pieces will sell right away, and there's no problem if it doesn't, because you just put it in the art bank. And when your prices go up over the course of your year, your career, you got art.
Yeah, you have more art.
And the older the art, the better, really.
In some cases, yes. In some cases, definitely.
I don't necessarily push the old stuff that doesn't sell. If it didn't sell, I'm comfortable with that.
Like, but remember, it's old stuff for you. But say something I painted 4 years ago.
Yeah.
When I had whatever, like, I'm just throwing out numbers here, but say I had 1,000 followers 4 years ago. Now I have 2,000. So that's 1,000. Yeah. That's 1,000 followers that didn't see it. That's the same amount of number of followers I had when I created it that now are new that didn't see it. So it's not old art. It's new art for those people.
Yeah, true that.
So, like, sometimes even I have to remember that, because I have this whole art bank of art that I don't share enough on social media that I should be, and I've been doing it a little bit more, and I've been making some sales because of it. I just sold a few paintings recently. I sold one just a couple of days ago. We've spoken about it before. I reached out to one of my collectors and said, hey, I've got this little painting. It's looking for a new home. I was going to put it up for sale on my timeline, but I thought I'd offer it to you first, and she said yes. So that's awesome. So, you know, it's motivating. You know, I'm feeling pretty pumped up about that.
And that's the direct sale. I don't know if we ever talked about that in Arty Time, but you have the vague spray 'em where you're just shooting off blanks into a fucking dark room when you post on social media trying to make a sale with a canvas. Or you could message someone that you know buys and had bought regularly. Don't be bothering someone who just bought once, you know? Like, maybe. Hey, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about someone who, on their own volition, is that a word?
Volition, yeah.
Volition, hits you up and it says, hey, I'm interested in that thing. And if they've done that 2 or 3 times, it's okay to message that person and give
say, hey, I have this new thing. Would you be interested in it? I thought you might want the sneak peek. And like, I literally bought a pendant. I'm not wearing that specific pendant right now, but I have mentioned it on a previous episode. I bought a pendant because an artist that I buy jewelry from sent me a sneak peek. He's like, do you want a sneak peek? I said, yes. He sent me the thing. I bought it before he shared it on his timeline. I felt like I got a great deal, and he was selling it for too little. And I was pretty lucky that he gave me the sneak peek so I could grab it at that price before he got his list of comments saying, dude, you should be charging 3 times what you are for that. I told him that. He's like, no, man, it's fair for me. The price didn't call it. Like, oh, okay, awesome. I'm buying this now. Here's your PayPal transfer. And he did that. Like, so it's no shame in doing that. You know, if you're offering something people want and are excited about, getting that preview or that sneak peek at it, like,
Even if they say no,
even if
they're
they say
gonna
no,
feel special
or
with the
leave,
fact that you offered them that.
There is also the possibility some people will leave you hanging because they don't want to say no, and they'll just leave the messages seen and no reply, or unseen, and they won't respond to it. I'm sure.
Then you post on their ass.
Yeah, no. Then you just post it on your timeline or whatever, or give that offer to the next.
No
person.
hard feelings.
Yeah, no hard feelings.
You should do it if you're considering.
And yeah, even if somebody leaves you hanging, be like, hey man, no hard feelings. Just thought you might be into it. Like I sold it to someone else, or like it's still available if you want it. Whatever the case is, like don't leave like them feeling like they're you getting back to you kind of thing. I think that's the best customer servicey way to handle that.
The point is, if you're trying to sell your art, you can't be ashamed of that action. And if you're ashamed of that action, then you need to reevaluate why you feel that way.
Yeah.
Because you cannot be a professional artist and feel that is too much to ask.
Yeah, or that it's a dirty thing to take money for your art. Like literally throughout the entire history of human civilization, beautiful things and handmade creative things that are unique, that people with unique skills can create and no one else can. Those things have been coveted by people with power and wealth and resources. And then like Michelangelo was hired by the Vatican to paint the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, these people are like these, how can I put it? Like art is important in life. Imagine life without art. Imagine without color, without patterns on wallpaper, or if everyone was wearing white sheets and nothing else, like there's no music, there's no design and anything. Like art is really important. It's a big part of humans' lives, whether they realize it or not. It really is. Like even just think of how many cars you see a day. Each one of them has a hubcap. That hubcap was designed by someone as a unique thing. And man, there's been how many hubcap designs on how many different cars for how many decades now, and they're still coming up with unique ones. So it's like, that's art. That's industrial design art, but it's still art. It's still things to catch your eye and make you want that. And that's art. And like that's like
every packaging,
there's no shame.
There's no shame that you buy every day has art on it.
Yeah, and there's no shame in accepting somebody else's resources that they worked hard doing whatever they're into to get the thing that you worked hard creating. Like we all pay way ridiculous markups on things that are made in China and cost not much to ship here, and then we pay a whole bunch of money at the same time. I understand the business side of it. The business person has to invest a lot of money to buy in bulk and then ship them here and hope they can reach enough clients to sell their stuff so they're not going bankrupt. There's a lot of risk in running a business, let's face it. So big markups help you mitigate that risk, but like that's the way life is. You pay for stuff that you want. So if somebody wants your stuff, don't be shy to ask them to pay for it.
And don't be shy to.
And don't feel bad if they do want to pay for it. Like I've seen artists where people offer them a lot of money for things, and then they lowball back and be like, "Oh, I could never take that much for this," and then the client backs away because they're like, "Oh, well, I thought it was worth that, and now you're telling me that this is just garage sale art. I thought I was making an investment in some fine art. Now you're telling me it's garage sale price. I don't want garage sale art. I want it to make an investment." So. And now,
okay, let's go back to why you want to have people help you with the title.
But I wanted to have people help me with the title because mainly because it's not always easy to come up with titles is the real reason. And I'm like, I could sit here and stare at it until a title pops into my mind. But it's fun. It's fun to give people a chance to interpret it and throw out their idea. I think that's fun.
And on the flip side, when you post it, it's good for the dreaded algorithms to have people commenting.
Well, it used to be good to have people commenting.
True that, it's not anymore.
It's not that good. I mean, maybe it helps a little bit because there is still the monkey see, monkey do factor where if somebody sees 10 comments, they're more likely to leave an 11th one.
Yeah.
But it's not like all those comments help your post reach, 20% of your followers all of a sudden, where it used to kind of help that.
I think it should be called Bikini Bottom.
Bikini Bottom. No, there's no pineapple.
You're obviously not going to paint a pineapple. I think it's called Bikini Bottom.
All right.
That's what I'm going to call it. My point of doing an interactive comic is that I feel that if you get people engaged in it, then the second part of art is really kicked into overdrive. And by the second part of art, I mean that first you paint it, and it's painted by a single man. Here he is. And then he disappears. And then it takes other eyeballs, like these, to see it. And that's the second part. First part, created. Second part, viewed. And that's what makes up art. Art is a two-step process. A creation process, and then a sensory experience process, or whatever, if it's music, hearing it.
That's a sensory experience.
Yeah, but it's an experience. The second part is the experience of another person with the art. And I think that's a super important part of the art, is getting that second part going and kickstarted.
You know, I've described it to myself and like a few people in conversations. Like I call the process of art the three happies. There's the happy of starting something new, that you get excited about the new journey you're on. Is the happy when you finish it, and then the happy when somebody buys it. To me, that's kind of like the three happies in art, because like there's the excitement of starting, there's the excitement of finishing, and the pride that comes with like I finished something I started. Which in my personal life, when I used to be a drunk idiot, I didn't often finish things I started, other than like at my job I was very good at, but outside of that, like, yeah. So I get that second happy, but then the third happy really comes when somebody values it enough to trade their time, which is really what money is time, whether not everyone's time gets paid equally, but it's still time is money. People earn money by spending their time doing stuff. So they're trading their time for my time in the form of currency. And it's nothing to feel guilty about. In fact, it's something to feel awesome and humbled and excited about.
I kind of see it as the first step is the manifestation of your art and it having been pleasing to you solo. The second would be having people see it and appreciate it. And then the ultimate cherry on top is someone that appreciates enough to buy it. And I believe to get to that third step, you really just have to hit 1 and 2 all the time. Hit 1 and 2, hit 1 and 2, and eventually you can make a career out of it. The guy who made Garfield, I'm pretty sure at the beginning, he was drawing Garfield for himself, doodling, and then he decided, because he had seen enough comics, that he wanted to be a comic book artist, and he started showing people his Garfield comics, and he pleased enough people that eventually it was syndicated around the world. And then thus began the fucking juggernaut that is Garfield. And people came at him with licenses and all that stuff. But really, I think the first initial steps were doing it for himself and then trying to show it to other people. And if you think about it, it's so ridiculous as a business. Imagine what his parents thought of his business. I'm going to draw doodles that say a joke and I'll be a millionaire.
I mean, it's like any other business. I mean, a lot of people, like, no matter what business you're trying to start, if it hasn't been done by the people you're talking to about it, they're probably going to doubt you can do it. Like, people probably told Bill Gates and Steve Jobs they were crazy to think they would build machines in their garage that everyone would have on their desk in 10 or 15 years, but they believed it. So it's the same for me, you know, like when I started making art, man, everyone told me I was stupid. Don't put your eggs in one basket. You're never going to make a living. You're already 30. You would have had to start painting when you were 12 to fucking get good enough at it that people would see your talent. And that's not true. It took me 3 years for my first painting to quit my job, and I did art full time for almost 5 full years. Right now I'm working at a full-time job, but it's awesome because it's giving me resources and time. Well, like, it's eating a lot of my time, but it's giving me resources that I can use to put back into my art career and my life, so that my work-life balance is better. Doesn't mean I'm not planning on eventually going back full-time into my art thing and saving money to build other greater and better things to do with my art. But resources are important in our career.
Yeah, and
monetary resources.
And you started working from
or
home.
networking resources and things like that.
Yeah, you work from home today?
Yeah. I was. I actually, like, if you've been following Arty Time, when I first got hired, I was working close by here, and they promoted me to manage the call center. I did that for a little while, but to be honest, I prefer just being a sales guy. I'm the top sales guy where I work, and when I was being a manager, like, I was having to train new people and take a lot of time off the phone. I'm making less money to do more work, and then I have, like, 18-year-olds working for me that aren't showing up because they're hungover, and I have my boss going, "Where are these guys?" And I'm like, "They're 18, they're hungover." I called them, they didn't answer. 2 of them texted me and said they have headaches. Like, I'm sorry, like. I don't need the stress of answering to my boss why immature kids aren't showing up to work on time. Like, I'm not their mom, I'm not their dad. I didn't fucking raise them if they don't have the fucking, work ethic to show up at. Sorry, don't come ask me. Like, I don't know, hire more people, fuck. Anyway, I decided, screw that. I don't want to be the manager anymore. I prefer just to be the sales guy. And not long after I decided that, they decided they were going to move their office like an hour away from where I live instead of 15 minutes where I live. I went and worked there for a little while, and I asked them if I could work from home. So now I'm working from home, so I can kind of work on my art during the day a bit. I have a little more time now to spend on social media because I have my computer that I'm working from that has all my pictures on it. So, like, I can upload something to my website while I'm listening to answering machines, or as I'm waiting for somebody that says, I'll call you back in 3 minutes. Okay, I'm not going to make more phone calls and wait for this guy. I'll wait for this guy to call me back, So in that 3 minutes, I can go take a picture or go out of color or go freaking put my website on the side of my painting or whatever.
Do you feel that getting put back into sales helped your sales?
Yes and no. Like, it helped. Having income helped my sales because I don't need to worry and I don't feel stressed about just meeting my basic needs. That is huge.
Financial stability is so important as an artist. When you're starting off, you have to tell yourself, I think we talked about this before in other episodes, you can't be living like your other friends who have jobs. You just can't. And you have to tell yourself that if you want to make it and you want to be traveling to fucking Ibiza and fucking partying down and selling some art in the future, well, you can't be going to steakhouse, bar and grill. You just can't. You're going to blow your money there, and then you're going to be so broke that you're going to make a bad move on a sale because you need the money, and you're going to think wrong, and you're going to sell it for garage prices when the person with money would have said the ballsy move. And the right move.
And I mean, I'm super, like, I'm very passionate about the art end of what I do. I love the feeling. The feeling I got when I finished this last night, like, I didn't go to bed for 45 minutes after because I just wanted to look at it. It's like, I get that amazing feeling. There's nothing else in the world that gives me that feeling except finishing a new painting. So I definitely want to keep having that feeling. And I hope there's people out there that like my art and they get that same feeling when I show a new one that I get when I finish a new one, that they're like, man, I can't wait to see his next one. And that link between those people, between my passion for doing it and the people that resonate with the objects I'm creating, like, that's what I'm doing it for. And I know there's still people out there that are gonna resonate with these things I'm creating, and I still resonate with these things I'm creating. So, like, it's when I first got the job, I was looking at it like I was giving up on my art career, and now I'm looking at it like I'm not at all giving up. I'm actually just like, I think, I don't know what words to use, but it's like my art career is better because it's not the cause of a lot of stress in my life anymore. So it's not feeling like I don't want to do it. Yeah, it's not feeling like a letdown. It's not feeling like I get kicked in the nuts if I post if I create a few new paintings and I post them and none of them sell. Then it's like, oh man, I needed one of those to sell so I could pay my rent and buy groceries. None of them sold. What am I gonna do? Now I gotta borrow money, take money off my card. I'm going further into debt. I have things to ship. I always ship my stuff. But we talked about that in a recent episode. But not having that.
They raised the price on shipping.
Yeah, all the time. In Canada, it's terrible.
So if you're listening from the States, you have to understand it costs me over $20 to ship one T-shirt.
Yeah, well, $20 Canadian. So it costs like $16 US to ship us. For me to ship you a T-shirt with tracking number costs like $16 US. If I ship it without a tracking, it's like 9 or 10.
No, that's American. But me shipping inside Quebec to someone else has been $20.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's literally like you want to get in your car and just drive the vast distance across Canada to fucking deliver it. Because it doesn't make sense as a business owner to be selling shirts when it costs $20 to ship.
Well, one thing you could look into, and I don't know if you ever have, but I know for local deliveries, courier services might be cheaper than Canada Post. For anything here or in the island or Laval, might be cheaper, might not. It depends how often you use them. There might be better deals if you use them often or if you send multiple things at once. But my friend used to be a courier driver, and he did a lot of that, like just sending little packages that would have cost $50 to send 18 blocks away, and you have to go drop them off or have somebody come pick them up anyway. So like, just have the courier do it for like $23, and it's done.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Oh, it's just
it might be an option for local stuff that you could look into.
It's incredibly pricey, and I think that nobody cares when it comes to that kind of shit. That no matter what, you end up making like $5 on a shirt. It's garbage. It makes you not even want to sell shirts. But shirts are good. It's just a lot of love to get a shirt to a fan, and hopefully they enjoy it and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, they have to know that it's an incredible burden as an artist. If I didn't make my own shirts, there's no money to be made.
Yeah, I mean, I don't sell
shirts cost $12. They cost $12 to get done by someone else. So you have a $12 shirt, you're selling it for what, $30? Okay, now you lost money. So you guys sell it for $33? Okay, cool, now you didn't make money. So what do you guys sell it for?
Yeah, I mean, with
$40, $50 for a shirt? For a
I happen...
And then everyone says you're robbing them, $40 for a t-shirt? That's robbery.
Yeah, no, I happen to not care right now if my shirts sell or not. I really like having my own designs on my shirts, and I don't care if I have a big box of them. There was a time when I was like, oh man, I'm wasting all this money on shirts. What did I do? I have this big box of shirts and I can't pay my rent, and I want to sell some shirts, but I can't. And it's like, okay, but whatever. Now when I do an event, I have a bunch of shirts. And like when I'm at a live event, like selling art in the local fairs and stuff like that,
shirts are good.
It's pretty impressive, and that's where my shirts move because I don't have to ship them.
No, that's where you make good money. You're selling a shirt for fucking. You can sell a shirt for $10 and you're making more money than you would have when you.
Yeah, I sell them for like 15 or 2, for 20 or 2 for 30 kind of thing live in person, and then I do make some money on them, and I have. Once people buy a shirt from you once at an event, or anything from you once at an event, there's a good chance next time they see you, they might buy something else. I have a lot of people that see me at my events, and they know me as the guy with the nice pens. We've spoken about this before. They like to buy my pens. Pens are awesome. I've sold close to 1,000 pens. Like, everyone needs a pen now and then, so...
I mean, look, we're decked out in our fucking gear. You know what I mean? We're both wearing sweaters and shirts and hats, just me. That are our own merch. You know what I mean?
I don't need a hat taking off the little hair that I have left up there.
Like we have still have hair. Look.
One has long hair, the other one doesn't care.
Look, the point is, it's good to have shirts, but you ain't paying rent with them.
Yeah, no, I mean, unless you get to the point where somehow you're selling 1,000 shirts a week, then you can pay your rent with them. But that's hard. That's hard.
At that point, you're hiring someone, and then that guy's getting the pay.
Yeah, because you got to ship 1,000 shirts in there, and no way this dude's packing 1,000 shirts in a week.
And then you got to pay the guy $500 to ship. Well, you're making money, okay? You're making money, but now you have an employee.
Yeah.
Possibly 1,000 shirts. Now you have a warehouse, so now you're paying electricity and rent on a warehouse.
1,000 shirts doesn't need a warehouse.
1,000 shirts?
1,000 shirts.
You're doing it out of your house. 1,000 shirts right now. You're doing it out of your house.
I wouldn't want to, but 1,000 shirts would definitely fit like in the size of this table. Like,
no, you have to have all the sizes. And if you're selling 1,000 shirts, then you have different shirts that are selling. You're not selling one model of shirt here. One model of shirt, and you're not selling smalls. You're just selling large. I just have large.
There is a shirt that might work like that. Not different sizes, but that one shirt.
Dump. You gotta dump it on us.
We gotta dump it on people soon, man. I should get that website built. Fuck.
Okay.
That's the big thing we need.
No, it's true. That could. But then eventually the tap runs dry.
Yeah, the tap runs dry until 2024, which I also own the website, and 2028, which I also own the website, and 2032, which I also own the website.
I have it. Tell me when, and I'll wear that shirt for Arty Time.
Yeah, we should do it.
I mean, it's pretty much time.
Yeah, it is. The website's got to be done first, so like, get me on that. Like, remind me and get me to do it, because it shouldn't cost a lot of money, and it shouldn't even take that long.
And, I mean, at this point, I might as well I want to kind of bring it up because anyone who's...
I'm so looking forward to making that website.
Because artists... Look, artists can get swept up, and I think we talked about this before in the past, that their news feeds could become political at this time because of the political turmoil that's happening in the United States. I advise you to not get involved. Keep your art, keep doing your art, keep posting your art. Do not get involved in WrestleMania. Because this, and quote me right now on fucking whatever date we are, March 5th, the Bernie Sanders thing is just to deflate the left. They're going to get people all riled up, and then they're not going to nominate him, and then you're all going to sit down and whimper that, the system doesn't work, and then when Trump goes against the other, no one's going to vote, and he will win. That's the only plan. The plan right now is to get everyone to feel like they're doing something, and
billionaire versus billionaire.
It's going to be billionaire versus billionaire, but look, the Bernie Sanders thing is just going to be
I'm glad I'm Canadian, that's all I gotta say.
Huge letdown.
Not that our politics are a lot better, but they're less invasive in people's lives, and like anywhere else in the world, I guarantee you.
We're super heavily taxed. What do you mean? Super
we are, but it's invasive in our lives, but not in our news feeds. I see way more American stuff in my news feed about politics than
everyone's going to vote for Bernie right now, even though it means nothing.
Even my Canadian friends post a lot about American politics, and none of them post hardly anything about anything Canadian.
WrestleMania is huge, bro.
Even our news on TV, like it leads up with the world news and American politics, and then Canadian stuff comes later in the news. It's like, okay,
WrestleMania is huge, okay, and it's gonna swallow. It's gonna be a whole till November. So the whole summer is going to be WrestleMania, and
I understand that people that live in the U.S. and have strong feelings either way, for, against, or for not voting, and the system's fucked, and we shouldn't be fucking serving shit soup. If the soup has shit in it, it doesn't matter who's the cook. We need to make new soup.
That's my point and why I brought it up.
But like,
keep
whether
it out of your news feed.
Whichever of those you are, or somewhere in between, or whatever, as an artist, it's kind of like, I mean, if your art's political, I guess go all in, but if your art's, like, generally not political and, like, just inspiring and pretty stuff kind of thing, like nice shapes and colors, yeah, I recommend you stay out of commenting too much on that kind of stuff. It's going to get you involved in those kind of discussions for the next fucking year.
And then your posts are going to be going to people that don't even like you because they hate you.
And as that happens, your feed, you're going to interact more and more, and your feed's going to become less and less the stuff you want to see and more the stuff you're interacting with because you're angry at it or whatever. And that's the way Facebook and Instagram work.
Yeah.
And if you're not aware of it and you're just reacting based on your gut and feeling reaction, it's going to affect your future. Because your future self is going to see more things that make you angry. Because Facebook and Instagram don't care if it's a happy react, angry react, sad react. If it's a react, you see more of that.
Yeah.
So
keep it in mind. Maybe make another account if you want to get political and go off and be the fucking messiah on people's comments. You're not going to change anyone's mind on the internet.
Hardly ever, no.
You're really not. You're fighting for nothing in the comments.
What you have to alienate a large portion of the people who like your art and like you as an artist, but don't necessarily agree with your politics or opinions on that.
Just stay true to what you know, which is, being a creative soul, and that's what people need to see in this life. They need to see people that are going to get their dreams, not people that are fighting over red team versus blue team, even though it doesn't matter. Okay? They're bought and paid for by extremely rich people, and they already know who the winner's going to be. What you're watching is just WrestleMania. You're just watching how they're going to go about making that person win.
Frank Zappa said it best. He said, politics is the entertainment division of the military-industrial complex. Quote, end quote. Like, it really is, and
I'm watching it play out, and it's too obvious.
I get it, because for many years before I saw it, bigger picture for what it is, I was into it. I bought hook, line, and sinker into some of these people. And these ideologies that were presented as being new and different, and they're not, because no matter who's sitting in that chair at the Oval Office, the bombs are dropping and the drugs are being imported by the CIA and killing people inside the United States. Those are the real terrorists, by the way. Go research any of that. And it's easy to find now. They're totally open about it.
Well, they've been caught a lot.
Yeah, they've been caught a lot, but like people don't seem to care, and people also seem to think that it's different this time. It's like, where the fuck do you guys think all the fentanyl is coming from that's getting into the United States? You think that's not being allowed to come in? Not Afghanistan at all. No, my friend.
Has to be
synthetic shit that's coming from my gut feeling. It's being produced in North Korea and sold for cryptocurrency and shipped through China, and that's how North Korea, and that's why North Korea and the states are trying to be friendly, because like the CIA's there making drugs. What's the one place in the world no one can go find the CIA making drugs and selling them like they did?
Fentanyl's not made with opium?
No, it's synthetic.
It's synthetic.
Yes.
Okay, I thought it was just a highly potent opioid.
No, it's synthetic.
Well, they do control Afghanistan. The 90% of the world's opium comes
Right,
from there.
but like my point is, there's many instances like the whole like in the 70s in Vietnam and in Cambodia, the CIA used literally called I think it was called American Air. It was. And it was run by the CIA, and they were ostensibly using it to bring equipment to the front lines and against these communists and all this stuff. But like they were bringing equipment, but then on the return flights they were full of opium, and they were running opium for these guys that they were supplying with weapons. Where have you heard this story before? Gee, sounds a lot like Afghanistan. But what you might not know is they did the same shit in the 80s in Nicaragua and Panama, but with cocaine. And then they turned it into crack, and they started selling it on the streets of America to fund their Black Ops war in Nicaragua, and that caused the crack epidemic. And that was the unit. And at the same time, they're having the war on drugs and just say no policies and increasing the penalties on drugs,
so that the military could have the prison industry.
Yeah, and not only that, they were targeting it at like certain populations, and they literally made the penalty for selling crack 10 times more than the penalty for selling powdered cocaine. And powdered cocaine was more used by the white boys, and then crack was more used in the inner cities. So what ended up happening, these people that were selling little rocks of crack to a homeless guy would end up in jail for 25 years, where the guy moving kilos of coke to the Hollywood fucking jet set isn't even getting jail time. And it's the CIA that brought that cocaine in.
Mm-hmm.
And like most people, you tell that to a lot, like my parents. If I told them that, they would not believe it. They wouldn't even consider it true. I could show them the documentaries. I could even show them on CIA.gov the frickin' things, and they would assume that their website was hacked and it was Russians putting this on there. There's no way the American government created crack epidemic. No way.
Oh, it's just $1 billion industry. They don't need that. Mm. They love selling weapons, but no drugs. No. Mm. We'll just leave that $1 billion on the table for someone else.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, like, I don't know. I could be very wrong, but I don't think I am. My gut feeling has been for a long time.
Bro, I'm sure
certain synthetic drugs are being made in North Korea.
I'm sure they're involved in sex trafficking as well. Mm-hmm. Okay? Those are the 3 big sales of the world. The weapons, the drugs, and the women. Mm-hmm. So, I'm sure they're involved in all 3. And my point being is, Obey had done the poster for Obama. If he could go back in time, would he want to be associated with that poster? It's good for his business, but at the same time, as the punk that he is, he probably hates that he was hook, line, and sinkered into that, where he believed in hope, and then that guy dropped more bombs than anyone else. Mm-hmm. And that's going to happen again. After Trump, there's going to be that new boy who comes in.
Or a woman.
Or who knows, the new storyline. Mm-hmm. And that person's going to sell you that they're a good person. We're going to switch it up.
This is 2020 America. We're all different now. We've got new ideologies and new things, new cuts coming to your services, and new cuts and new contracts going to wars and weapons, and new weapons that need building, and new lasers and
so you need to not get Space Force is coming. You need to not get hooked into this rah of politics, because it's going to eat up time in your life. And you should be spending it on
creating the oasis away from all of that for people to get back into real life and enjoy the moment of a what did you call it? A sensory experience that's real, live, raw, now happening, and it's real. It's not orchestrated by a group of shadow people.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to make art about shadow people with puppets, I mean, that's a cool political piece. If you're going to go above and beyond and really blow minds, fine. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to do Feel the Burn, Bernie Sanders, you're literally...
Here's the thing.
They planned that that you would do that, and then you would be let down when he gets let down, okay?
Here's so think about it. With political art...
Don't be involved, because you're going to get let down.
With political art, it has a shelf life. Because, 20 years from now, nobody's going to remember, especially if your art's about the guy who lost. Nobody remembers. Nobody cares. It's done. It's old. It's not relevant to anything. It's not a beautiful object. It's a statement that's outdated. It's like it's like wearing a jersey of a sports team from a country that you're not living in and that was only around for 2 years in the 70s. Is it relevant? Is it cool? Nobody fucking understands what the hell it is. So like, it's not a collectible thing. It's not the type of thing that I think most artists would want to build their career around and like have people remember them by. I mean, if you're doing caricatures and your editorial cartoons is your art, yeah, I guess rah rah rah, go all in, man. But like, you know, if you're like us and kind of trying to make art for people to get away from that and just connect more with themselves and their higher selves and the
Here's an example. People ask me to make a baby Yoda because they're watching Star Wars on Netflix. I could give a fuck about Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda was created so Disney could roll out products. Okay, they had a board meeting and they said, "Hey, what kind of character are we gonna make to make products here?" And then someone brought up, "What about the guy that looks like Gremlins, and we make him Yoda?" And they went, "You're a fucking genius.
Make him a baby. Yeah.
We'll make Gremlin Yoda," and they made it. And I know people specifically who did art and had Disney come after them and said, "You stop that right now." Because you're trying to eat up their market. And they have Chinese slaves working around the clock to make Baby Yoda products. It is coming like a tsunami, the likes of which you've never seen. And I don't want to be part of that, because I will be advertising for them. If I make Baby Yoda, only one person can have this Baby Yoda art piece, and then the rest, what happened? They got fucking indoctrinated into Baby Yoda consumerism. And I don't want to be part of it. I'd rather be part of, my vision is like, has there ever been a good Sonic t-shirt? No. Never. They can't make Sonic things to save our fucking lives. And that's why 20 years later I'm here trying to fucking make a Sonic thing, because I want it. And they're not going to make it.
I've never even seen a Sonic t-shirt. I mean, we don't even have them here in Quebec, but they don't have Belle Province in the States.
That's true. But a lot of the things that I try and make, like the Felix shirt that I'm wearing, I don't really see.
Oh, you meant Sonic the Hedgehog, not Sonic the Burger place.
Oh yeah, no, we don't have that either. But my point being is like, deliver what the universe needs, not what everybody wants. Obviously, what everybody wants, but it's nuanced. What I'm saying, like what everyone thinks they want might be manufactured, and if it's manufactured, then don't be part of it.
You know, I understand that people have strong feelings about
Baby
Yoda, about politics, about where things are going in the future, and what their opinion has, and what the effect of their reaction to things could be, and how the people around them are reacting to all these things. And I understand there's a lot of high emotions that are involved in some of what's going on, and it's easier said than done maybe to stay out of it completely. For somebody who's living in the United States and can actually vote there, neither of us can actually vote there. So I know you wouldn't vote. I know you wouldn't anyway. I know you personally wouldn't. I probably would, because otherwise I'd hear about it from my mom forever that I didn't. So I vote. Usually I end up voting for a candidate that I've researched and I believe in what they're doing, and they're probably on a party that literally has no chance whatsoever of winning, but that's who I vote for, because that's where my beliefs lie. And that's what sucks about politics, is you have to put your vote with like one of these big guys who, no matter if a little part of their platform you like it and it's kind of makes sense, there's a whole bunch of it that like ends up there and they're screwing the environment, they're causing wars, they're giving bailouts to giant corporations and letting little guys' businesses fail. And it's like, yo, if you run $1 billion business and you can't keep your business profitable, then it's not up to my fucking taxes to bail your ass out. Fire a lot of them, fucking go bankrupt, just like my business will if I can't fucking sell my things that I'm selling. I don't go to the government and ask for a bailout. You know, car companies, banks, what the fuck are they getting bailouts for? Fuck off. That's my money that I paid for. If anything, it should be building my roads and keeping my fucking teeth white and making sure if I break a bone, I get it set and put back together. That's just Canada. That's just most of the developed world.
I think artists are incredibly important for that revolution.
I do too.
But they have to not be swept in with the fucking wave. They have to keep in mind that art about bailouts or conversations about those topics are more powerful and poignant long term than what is happening in the recent news. What they're trying to get you in, sweep you under the rug of the recent news. So if you're gonna make political art or you're gonna make political statements, you're better off doing the vague, broad stroke ones like the 1%, the bailouts. They'll always be relevant and they'll always be profound. And an artist is a profound creature on his own because.
And again, I mean, like we're doing right here on your platform and your profile and your things, like talk about your beliefs and what your opinions and stuff are. That's one thing. I wouldn't engage with people who are like in the comments on my own post negative about that, but I think more what we're talking about is engaging on other people's stuff. You know, if you have an opinion or whatever, you want to post it, cool, great, but like if you start getting involved in arguments on other people's stuff, then these other people in these comment sections that don't even know who you are and aren't on your friends list are going to see you having this perhaps opposite opinion of what they have with this mutual friend that you've got, and now they'll never see your art and they won't care, and this guy won't share your stuff anymore, and he'll probably unfriend and unfollow you, and at the best he might argue with you more. And there you go, you lost a fan. Or
there's a reason why you don't tell people who you vote for and why it's fucking private. There's a reason for that. It's because it's incredibly hostile. When someone finds out, yeah, I'm voting for, and they fucking come after you and start raging. But you have the right to think.
The same happens if you don't vote. Then you go like, we fought and died for the right to vote. It's like,
yeah, no, the best is to tread lightly. Tread lightly. And that's what I'm trying to say. In this political climate, tread lightly as an artist, because we're talking about art business here. It does not help your business. Being political does not help your business. So if you're on your business page, you don't fucking do it. And if you're on another page and you really want to get into the comments, I advise you, make another account to do it. Or use a personal account to do it. Do not link it to your business. It is not good for business.
There you go, 100%. Best way, you just said it. So like, yeah. Good. Yeah. So I don't know. I think we should name this episode "How to Talk About Politics with Your Fans."
Yeah, that's it's long, but no, that's the whole thing. Is like if someone comes at you politically, the best thing to do is to be vague and be like, "Oh, I think that it's a red team versus blue team thing," and it's just.
It's nice being Canadian because I can just say, "Oh man, I'm Canadian. I see American politics too much. I don't even want to talk about." That's what I usually say.
Yeah,
if
I just
somebody
say
tries to rope me in. Yeah,
Because no matter what, when you say it's WrestleMania, they're gonna agree. They're like, "You're right. It is fucking WrestleMania." I mean, everyone needs to talk about this right now. And it's what I'm really trying to say is it's fake and it's bought and paid for. And
it's amazing how much time people waste during the election cycle.
Dude, right now, the man hours.
Like how many
the
people,
money,
man hours.
The money and the man hours.
How many people are
it's crazy.
spending so much time going to these rallies and watching them on TV and having discussions at home when they could be like watching the stars or learning an instrument or writing poetry or painting or
harmonizing with their community instead of fighting.
Having a family dinner, like all these things, and like it's just this cycle every 4 years where it's like it just consumes so much of people's time and so many people and so much energy and emotion, and it's like I don't know, man. I hope my art can be an oasis from that for some people. Yeah. I hope you're one of those people.
And also, don't get like if you hate it or whatever, don't let it get to you. When you leave your house and it's like all over the fucking talking heads and everything, laugh. Just learn to laugh and be like, it's crazy.
And the best way to do that is to curate your feeds on your social medias carefully by being very conscious with what you're interacting with on social media. Yeah. Because it really does have an effect on you. If your social media feed's full of stuff that's getting you angry and you're wanting your gut to react, and it's even if it's low level, it's not healthy. And like there is a alternative. Like my social media feed is a lot better than it used to be. I installed this thing called FB Purity on my social media and it still exists. It makes it run a little slower and a little wonky sometimes, but I kept it on for months, and you can type in keywords and it'll filter all the posts with those keywords. So like they won't be in your news feed, so you can't react to them. And after a while, Facebook's other algorithms, like there's nothing for them to slot you into. You got angry at this, you liked it, nothing. There's no feedback for posts with these words in them, so it assumes you don't care about them. and you don't see them. And then I took the FB purity off, and now my newsfeed's back to what I like. It's mostly art, and it's mostly, music and inspiring things. And
because keep in mind, just stopping the feed and reading the thing is a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and they register that you stop. I have this one person.
If you're on any device that has a camera, they literally have eyeball tracking. And any website, anyone who owns a website can tell you that that's true, because you can go into Google's back end and you can literally upgrade to use the eyeball tracking, and it'll tell you where people's eyes are going on your website. Like, it'll give you a graph of where people are looking and what they're looking at first and where their eyes go to. They have that.
That's unbelievable.
So, and it's everyone's website has that. It's not like it's just Facebook. You can buy that service from Google if you have a website. So, like, yeah, it's that it's that detailed. I
have one person on my feed that I don't know how I'm following this person. I never like their thing, but because they keep putting memes and I stop to read the meme because it's just who I am, I'm fucking reading the meme to see if it makes me laugh.
Mm-hmm.
They keep coming up.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
They just every single one of their posts I see, and I'm fascinated by this. So I never like it, but I always read it. And even if I fucking find it funny, I can't like it because I want to see what the fuck's going on here. And
but it's because you stop long enough to read it. Yeah, and I know I have people like this too. Some of those people that post 7 times a day, but I genuinely like the content they're posting. They're funny, they're sarcastic shit, the stuff that either makes me laugh or makes me feel inspired. And like, then there's these other people who I never see anything from, and then I go to their timeline and I see they've posted content for the last 4 months and I haven't seen any of it, and I'm following them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't get it. There's all these little ways that they curate your newsfeed to manipulate your emotions.
Yeah.
Like, as much as it sounds sinister, like, that's kind of what they're doing, because the more emotionally charged you are, the more likely you are to make emotionally charged reactions, i.e. buy stuff.
Yeah. If you're sad, you will buy.
Or donate money to the cause. Or whatever, like, put your money through their platform so they get their little cut.
Yeah.
And that, most of the time, like, the same as we talk about in selling art, people, the more emotional connection you can get someone to a piece of art, the more likely they are to buy it. The more likely they are to be connected to you as an artist, increases the chance of them. There's, like, the emotion involved in it, and it's the same thing when they're selling anything else. So, except they have the billion-dollar technology platform to, like, really fine-tune the emotional manipulation to the point that it's almost inhuman. Like the way that I create art and share it with my genuine emotional reactions, like, that's real. It's not like I have a robot watching that and then calculating people's reactions for me in a very detailed way and giving me information back that then tells me next time you should do this instead. Like, it's and slowly manipulate my fans, like, with this giant billion-dollar machine, and like, that's not what I'm doing. I'm just being me. But Facebook is doing that with your posts. They're manipulating all of it to get you to react to things.
Mm-hmm. And also to spend money, so they might literally be crushing your popular posts, and I think they are, because that's the whole, hey, this post is doing quite well. You might want to give us your money.
Yeah, you get those notifications.
So I think that the only thing to keep sanity in all this is to not let it affect you, and really laugh that we're living in this time, and it'll pass. Like all things, it'll pass. And put your eggs in other baskets. Go do some fairs. Go meet some people. Go be part of your community and stuff like that. And
or like, if you have a job and like you're not doing a lot of stuff with your art right now, but you really want to down the line, save money.
Yeah.
Save money. Put money in the bank, because when you are ready to go and you want to do stuff with your art, you're going to want inventory. You're going to want to build the website. You're going to want to hire the SEO person or maybe a content creator. The more money you have when you are ready to put things focused on your art, the more resources you can throw at it when that time comes, the better. And if you don't plan for that time coming, it'll never come. It's not like just going to magically appear like, the magic art fairy said everything's lined up now. It's time to go at it. Oh, I have no money saved. Sorry, art fairy, bye. Like,
yeah, in any business, it's incredibly important that the entrepreneur saves money and does not blow all the money, because you never know. The cash register breaks. Something happens. If you don't have a nest egg, that could be the end of the business.
Yeah, or it could put your business into hibernation or whatever. Like, I didn't save a lot of money when I maybe could have. I made some bad purchases at a time. Well, I didn't know. I wasn't psychic. In retrospect, I made bad purchases, but I wasn't psychic to know that the $7,000 I spent during the summer of 2015 was leading up to the algorithm change of 2015, where nobody's seeing my posts anymore. I invested a lot of money in 2015 leading up to Christmas season.
Yeah.
And then Christmas season came and no one was seeing my posts. So all this money I invested in all this inventory, none of my inventory was moving, and that really kicked my business in the nuts. Then I was left with all this inventory and I couldn't move it, and I wasn't making enough money to keep buying new inventory, so I wasn't releasing as much new stuff as often. I was also feeling down and hopeless.
Yep.
So it was hard to access those positive emotions of like looking for solutions and stuff. It was more like a lot of wallowing and being like, oh man, feeling like no matter what, the thumb is on my head pushing me down. So, like.
But luckily you got your health back, you got your financial stability back, so now you're at a whole different playing field.
Yeah, and there was some soul searching along the way. I didn't pick up a paintbrush for 2 months between like my birthday and December, pretty much around Christmas. We didn't do an Arty Time. People were like, "Where are you?" I wasn't answering messages. I didn't give a fuck. I needed that time to myself to find the passion inside again and decide if it was something I still wanted to pursue. I knew really deep inside it was. I just needed to be in a place where I could pursue it without taking billion-dollar AI algorithms personally.
Yeah. And now you don't take them personally. And now how do you feel?
Way better.
So the point being is that, we made it to Arty Time episode 29. And if you are suffering from the letdown of social media, there is really only one avenue. Don't care. You should not care.
You should be the guy with long hair or the other one that doesn't care. Either way.
Nobody cares.
Exactly.
Available now on my web store.
I think that's a pretty good way to end Arty Time 29.
Guys, seriously, I'm not trying to be mean or anything. Just you should really not care. And enjoy your life. Focus on the things that make you happy. Enjoy your friends. Spend time with them. And this will all pass. Do the right move. Ask yourself what's the next right move, and do that, and it'll all make sense in the end. But wallowing in self-defeat or depression is not going to help your business. It's not going to help your health. It's really just not going to help.
No, it didn't help. But I don't know, man. Like, sometimes in my life, anyways, a lot of times my quote-unquote like rock bottoms where I felt the worst were like the foundations for where I end up being in the future. And if I didn't have those experiences where I learned either things outside of me that like how to work around obstacles that throw themselves at me, or B, if I learn how to handle my own emotions inside and be stronger in adversity and things like that, or like either way, it's a learning experience and you become a better person as long as you don't give up.
It's unavoidable. Like, it's not like just fucking dance around depression. It's gonna hit. Okay, it hits everyone. We all face it at one point in our lives.
Especially entrepreneurs, because we're so passionate and we throw so much of our lives into it. And combine an artist with an entrepreneur who has the passion for the creation and the passion for the business, and then like it can be a match made in heaven. But when those kicks in the nuts happen,
they will happen,
and they will. Yeah, you'll have products that don't sell. You'll have painting that you spend a long time on that people fucking just don't dig the colors. And, you'll have people telling you those colors look like turds.
One of the smartest, one of the best things you can do in this situation is learn to transmute that. Understand it for what it is. Learn while in that experience, but then transmute it, because that's what the gift of an artist is that they can transmute things, and they are true alchemists. So if you're experiencing that right now, no, it's okay. But now try and think of a way out and a way to transmute it, and start taking the small acts that you need to get yourself out of that situation.
Small acts that you take that you've been putting off, especially or me anyway, when I take small acts towards things that I've been putting off or that have been nagging me and I feel guilty about for not having attacked yet.
Mm-hmm.
The sooner I start attacking those little ones, the sooner I get to the big ones, and the sooner my plate is clean of all that guilt, and I can actually make positive decisions because I'm not weighed by that like stress and guilt of things I haven't done.
Yeah, anybody who's achieved anything in life will tell you it's a series of small steps that get them to where they are.
Mm-hmm.
And if you focus on the big thing, you're not going to move a stone.
Yeah, it's harder to focus on the end goal than it is to focus on the next step you need to take on the way there. It's important to know what the end goal is. If you're trying to walk to fucking
have an end goal.
If you're trying to walk to Florida, you got to know what direction Florida's in.
Yeah, always have an end goal. That's very important too. Is have a goal. Once you reach that goal, set a new goal. You know, make them believable, but also at the threshold of unbelievable. That's a very good point. Is try and put it right there, and then push your boundaries of what you believe is possible. And the series of steps that lead there are just believable steps. Well, maybe I'll just send that guy an email.
I think I sold 13 paintings for $1,000 US or more. There was a time in my life where if you had told me I would ever sell one painting for $1,000 US or more, I wouldn't have believed you. I would have said that would be amazing. I would feel like I had made it as an artist. I would build myself a throne and sit on it and not care about life anymore. But like,
you achieved it, and then
I achieved it, and then I wanted another one, and then I wanted another one, and I wanted to make a better painting, and you know, like those kind of things, like.
Yeah.
So those are the kind of things we're talking about. Anyway, I
have to go to the bathroom.
You do? Cool.
Yeah.
Nobody cares though.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Arty Time, episode 29.
Arty Time, Arty Time, Arty on.
It's excellent. All right, y'all. Ooh, that's a squeaky chair.
Leave your suggestions if you have any for what to call this painting.
Yeah, and check out my page if you want to find out about that comic. Another one next week. I already got it drawn out, but I can't be putting them out every day because then my whole feed's going to be about that, and it'll be weird. This is one's called Bikini Bottom, if you ask me. See you later.